Dear students, today we will be doing mesh as well as the nParticle. So that will be our method here today. First we will create nParticle, and then we will convert to liquid, like we call the output mesh, and then we will convert to poly, and then we will convert it to mesh. So that is going to be our system today. So let's create something with nParticle here. So let's go and create nParticle. You can go to FX and create nParticle. I want to create an emitter here, so I'll just say reset and create it here. So I want to check what is my what are my display particle types. So we have, it's like a dot, no issue, this is what we wanted. So we can just move it a little bit up here, so get it like this. Okay, so it's going all the way down. I don't want them to go down, so I want it to go what do you call I want them to go all the direction, because we have used the method for the omni means all directions, but the gravity is pulling it down. So I will say I don't want any gravity. So what happens now, in the gravity we can check, and it will go in all directions. So since the speed is still a little bit more, so I will reduce the speed of the emitter, and speed we have it here, let's say point maybe 4. So we have all these particles here, but I don't want them all of them together, so many particles. I want them to be less. So first thing, I can have less particles, maybe 80 particles here, and what I can do is I can make the particle lifespan a little bit less. So I can say constant is also okay. I'll say 2 seconds for that. So that's what is looking like right now. Maybe I can have 3 also. So what it works right now. So once we have this particle, let's change the particle type to the spherical. So how do we get the spherical type here? We can go to the shading, and we have by default this render type is point. I want you to change it to the sphere. So since sphere is here, you can see they are all getting created. I don't want so much of the value here. So what I can do is I can have the opacity, work on the opacity. I can have the size also. So let me just go there and have particle properties like this. Okay, so there are a little bit more particles. So what I want, I can change them to sphere. I can change them again to the spheres here. So I have the opacity also. Opacity will not work right now because we need to connect it with the different nodes right now. So there we have the color. What kind of particle color you wanted? So you want this color or some watery thing? You can always work on that. Once you get to this place, next thing is to convert it to the mesh. So what do we do is, right now, as soon as I convert to the mesh, our use of this output mesh will come into the effect. So as soon as I click on the particle and go to convert it, so I can convert from nParticle to Polygon. You see it properly, because this is very important thing to work on right now. As soon as you click on this, you get something kind of this effect. Everything is gone because it's not able to generate more polygons, more vertex. So we will be playing around this place. So first thing is here, you can see when I'm going for the scaling, we are getting this effect. The very important thing is the mesh triangle size. If I have reduced it less, so you will be getting more and more particles, maybe 0.1. But the good thing is that as you see it here, you can go to the surface and you can go to even the particle, and the particle you can increase the lifespan again still, even though you are into the polygon mode. So what you do, you do have more particles coming up like this, right? And yeah, I forgot to add one thing initially. Let me see, can we do something right now? I wanted to add some field in this. So field will, right now I cannot add any field. Field will make them move in different directions. So let me see, can I go back to the particles originally before converting, I mean to say. No, I think I will not be able to go up once I convert it. No. Let me go and do. Yeah, thank God. I can go to the particles now. So I can have four lifespan here. So I want them to move zigzag. So what I'll do is I can go to add the turbulence here. So once I add the turbulence, you will see them, they are moving in one particular direction. I don't want them to move in one direction. I want them to be generic here. So if I move it like this, so that's how this whole thing, I want them to go in all directions. So what I can do is I can go and play interactively so that I know where I want them to go. I want them to go some behavior, maybe 1000 frames we can put here. So you can go back to again to the interactive playback. So that's how they work here. So maybe we need more frames to play it around. So I want some kind of effect here. So I'll wait unless we get good effect here. Okay, let me just adjust a couple of more properties. We have magnitude, we have phase. Let me see what we can do with the phase. You can see that is different behavior here. So phase plays an important role here, as you can see. I think this is enough for the effect right now. Okay, so once we get the effect, again I will go back to convert them to nParticle to polygons here. So nParticle to polygon, again we go back to threshold and all these properties. First thing is important is to remember about the triangle size. If I reduce the triangle size, I will be getting more of the particles. So I'll say 0.05 also. That's again going to get very heavy and is going to give some organic effect as you see it here, but it's again going to make it very heavy in the scene. So if you have like one, you are going to have one big mesh, So depending on the system properties, you can modify that. What do you have? We have the scaling. If we have the scaling less, let's say for example, so that's how one blobby mesh is here and small meshes are here. So one mesh we can convert. You can see the effect here. That's how it is working. Very organic kind of output here. Maybe we can have 0.3 or something. So but if we keep it a little bit more less, it's going to be give you less output also. So we can again go back to threshold and reduce and increase the threshold value. Let's see what do we get again something similar to the scaling properties. So we can keep the threshold that much only, something like that. So what do we get here is we can go to motion streak. What do we get with the motion streaks? In the motion streaks we get lots of we can see variety of single pieces of the mesh. As you see it here, we are getting one big piece of the output. If I keep it reduce it here, we get something like this. So this, sorry, I should have changed the other property, maybe something like this. Let me just go for the undo, see that what did I do. Yes, threshold 1 is 0.4 is okay. So 0.4 is okay, 0.4 is like this, and 1 is like this. So I'll keep it 0.5. So let's click on this. Yeah, we are working about the streaks. So once you have the streak, what you get big speed is changed. You can see the speed is a little bit less. So if I have it like this, you can see you're getting the chunks, big chunks of the output. So that's how you just work on the streaks properties. If you have it 10 value here, you can see the difference, 10 value of the streak and 0 value of the streaks. So again, all of them work towards, you want a single big mesh or you want small pieces. So once we are happy with the output, what we can do is we can just stop this guy here. And what can do to the triangular resolution, you can make them some more smoothness also. I can say click on one, so it will all bit smoother output here. So triangular resolution maybe 50 is a little less. I'll keep it 100 only. So once we are happy with the output here, what we get to see, can I make it smooth? So smooth looks like this. So but I have to keep it one, otherwise it will not work properly. That's how we get effect. Now we're gonna just add up a couple of mesh options here. So just add some mesh in this. So hope you guys understood till here this place. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just add the mesh to nParticle, right? nParticle liquid, I'll say liquid. Okay, so let's save. So once we have saved this guy here, let's go back to the mesh here, click on the mesh, and we get a mesh something like this. As in the last class you have seen, we have multiple ways to create what you want to distribute this mesh. I want to be linear, I want to be radial, like this you can see, and I want to be spherical, I want to be a mesh. We don't have any mesh here, so mesh will not work right now. I'll say I can go for the grid also. And good thing is that if you play it, this guy, all of them will have the effect. So we can make some cool effects with the properties. Once we go there, and we'll be able to create the effects. As you see, you can have multiple, depending on the system properties, system configuration. You can try these effects. Maybe we can have we can see still you are using the lifespan, and you can do the variety of output. Let's see whether this still works or not. So yes, it works, but I don't think any effect will be there. Yeah, it's working. It means that the lifespan still works. So I'll keep it till 4, maybe to 3, depends on what you want. You want more effect, you can keep it more. So, and you can see all of them are moving in different directions. So what you can do is you can again go back to, I'll open my mesh property, I'll distribute, and this distribute itself I have radial, and what do we get? We get the distance here, and if I go to the radial property of the radial, we have the radius. You can make more radius or less radius. You can actually have more or less numbers also. And what else you can have? You can have the angle, how much angle you want, and you want them, you can give them in the z offset also, and that's how the whole thing works, like this. So, and you can play with the points also. So same time you can animate the multiple points as well as the like how many points we have, 25, and as well as you can have them animate this guy also. So let's see what it does. If I say 0 value here, 1 value here in the first frame, so I'll animate this here and set key and angle set key. Let me go back to maybe around 150 frames. I'll say 150 frames are here, and I want it to go 100% all the angle, and I want them to go 25 here. So let's see what do we get. So we get something like this, right? So it's very heavy on the system. If you really need so many frames, you can work on, otherwise it might corrupt also sometime. For example, right now I do not want it to happen like this, so I can go to my mesh distribute and I'll say I do not want any set key. I'll say break connection, I want full value, and I want break connection, and I want 25 value. So what it does, it will automatically keep giving you the output like this. So that's very heavy. You can see systems are not supporting properly. Maybe you can do one more thing. You can go back to zero distance in the Z. So what you get very cool effect like this. So you can understand what some organic things are happening here, and as soon as you want them to happen, this will happen. You can have some kind of like what you call you can have some property of the dynamics here. You can have some conserve value and fields with the nParticle. What you can do with the distribute right now, with the distribute properties, you can go back to the radius. You can have the z distance. Where you want this thing to happen, you can have the direction also. You can change the direction also. You want in this direction. So all are the possibilities are together applied. You can see that. So this is how we can get some organic effects. Right now I will be keeping it in the first one only. That was the first one here. So calculate rotation, this is very important thing. It will calculate the rotation of the angle also, like you have 360 degree to calculate the rotation, otherwise you will get something like this, right? So all of them are going to the upside, but if you want calculate rotation, they all will be going toward this own directions. So that's sometimes again very helpful to create some certain kind of effects. So what do we get now? We can have cool effects like this here. So I'll save this guy here first, and what I can do is I can create some Arnold shader, and in the Arnold shader I can go to my light properties, and I can get some sky dome light. So sky dome is here. What do we have here right now? I can have these effects. So what do we get as an output? Let me show you some small output here. So this is what we get. So what if I create some shader on this? I'll say favorite shader, new shader here, Arnold, and I can go to the basic one. That's a standard surface. So let's apply this, and I can keep it to the glass or some other effects. Maybe I can keep it copper. Copper is here. So what do we get as output here? We get some copper effect, but white color is too much. Don't worry, it will not come in the background once you render this out. If you want to work on the background color, you can go to the sky dome color and you can keep it black or something else. Maybe you can keep it dark color. So what happens now in the output? You will not see anything because that's what the light it takes inside. So I'll go again back to this color, so you'll see the effect of this in the entire area. So depending on the need, you can work on. If you do not want this method, like you don't want a sky dome, you can always go back to the sky dome and delete this, and go back to the properties of the render settings, and go to environment, and I want to add some sky shader. That is again for the Arnold. And now you render this out, you get something colorful as well as without any issue in the background. Let's say click this here, and you get the effect here. So that's a faster way of using without skydome, because skydome is very heavy. One thing you can do, like over here, you can delete this this thing again, what we put as here. I say delete this guy here, and you can put a light and physical sky also. So physical sky is here, we see the effects. That's how it looks. So now I can change this to my other particles. Maybe I want it to be something different. Something different means can keep it as a glass also. So I want the physical glass here. Glass should be here. So I'll just rotate this guy here, and let's now render this over here. So that's the glassy objects happening here, and once you click here and go for the 0 value, you can see this thing is happening. So once you render, the entire thing is going to give you a very cool effect, kind of metallic effect here. So, and this also you can actually multiply with some other way that we spoke about. You can keep something called signal here. You can keep a curve. Multiple ways are there. You can connect with the audio also, that we'll discuss in some time in future. I can have the signal right now. So in the signal, what happens is signal is here. What it does, it does something like this. See, this is how it works. Signaling. You can have amount less. Right. So depending on what you want it here. So I have the rotation also. You can work. You can do many things. You can do rotation with this. You can do XYZ rotation. You want it to move a little bit more in the X, Y, and Z. You can move it like this. So that's how this whole thing looks like. Stop this guy here, and I can keep it to the layers, and I can hide this guy here. So what we get the effect. Oops, it's hidden. Yeah, we have like this. So depending on the requirement, you can work around. Oops. Why? Because we don't have the physical sky right now. Let's add this here. So you get some glassy effects over here. If you do not want to see the floor, you have to go back and delete we have to go back and put a floor. That's a way you can actually work on without seeing the floor like this. You can make this also small. Maybe we can have 0.1 or something like this. It's not working. Anyway, I can have this whole thing up. Can I have this whole thing up here? Something like this. Maybe I'll check it here. So that's what we get as an output here. We still have not worked around the samples, because it will again make it heavier. So we are not playing with the samples, we're just seeing the effects with the mesh as well as with a different kind of properties. If you change the color of the floor, it will change the color here. So this reflecting the floor color here. So hope you guys understood this thing, how it works as a output. If I keep it legacy, you will not have problem by in seeing this. If you keep it report to, you will not see anything here. So sometimes you can keep on the legacy output, and we'll keep changing the properties here. So hope you guys understand this thing, and in any doubt you can get back to me on the channel, so it will be easy for you to understand the properties and uh, everything regarding the nmesh and dynamics. Thank you guys.